Am I waiting for a thumbs up or just go? All right. Hi, friends. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to our Race to Restore site Facebook Live session. Today, I will be talking about 4 stories that you can find on our website at ffb.ca, and I will be answering the questions that you've been sending in about those stories. My name is Dr. Mary Sunderland, and I am the Director of Research and Education here at the Foundation Fighting Blindness in Canada. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I hope that you learned something new today. And if you've joined our earlier Facebook Live sessions, I'm so glad that you've returned. The plan today is to talk about the 3 stories that were in our e-news. I'm going to start with the Restore Vision 2020 initiative. This is something I'm really excited about. I can't wait to tell you more. Next, I'll be talking about a story that really outlines some of the dangers of stem cell tourism. This is a really important story, and we hope that you'll help us spread awareness about some of the dangers that are out there. Then I'd like to introduce our newest ambassador, William, who lives with Leber's congenital amaurosis. And, you know, there's a lot I want to talk to you about today, but before I get into the stories from our e-news, I have some breaking news to share. Just 2 days ago, the Canadian Parliament voted to end genetic discrimination in Canada. This is huge and so important. This is a cause that the Foundation Fighting Blindness has been working on along with our partners at the Canadian Coalition for Genetic Fairness for the past 8 years. When I first learned about the work of the coalition, I was shocked that Canada at the time was the only G7 country that did not offer any form of protection for people's genetic information. This is especially important in the world we live in today, where it seems like there's a new initiative every day, or more and more work being put into figuring out how you can use your genetic information to personalize your medical care. It's becoming easier and cheaper to learn about your own personal genetic information so that you can make decisions about detecting early disease, making treatment decisions, and also learning how to prevent your disease. So while this kind of information is getting easier for us to learn about ourselves, it's also becoming easier for businesses, employers, and insurers to learn this information. Bill S-201 is a genetic non-discrimination bill that was designed to keep your genetic information personal and private. The protections that will be afforded by this bill will become ultimately a part of the Canadian Human Rights Act and the Canadian Labour Code. Ultimately, we hope it will outlaw discrimination on the basis of your genetics. This means that Canadians soon will be able to pursue genetic testing without the risk of it affecting their insurance or the relationship that they have with their current or future employer. This is an incredible benefit for people who are living with inherited forms of blindness. So why is this? This is because we know when you have a retinal dystrophy like Stargardt disease, retinitis pigmentosa, learning your genetic diagnosis, which your doctor sometimes refers to as your molecular diagnosis, this is really a key part on your journey. It's also a really, really important step to help you identify clinical trials or experimental treatments that might work for you. So for example, at the Foundation Fighting Blindness, we have something that we call our patient registry. So this is basically a database of information about people who are living with retinal dystrophies. So scientists and clinicians can use this registry if, say for example, they are planning to start a new clinical trial where they'd like to test a new gene therapy. They can then look in the registry and see, okay, well, who are the individuals in this registry that might be able to benefit from this kind of treatment? So they need to look, you know, what the current state of your disease is, and often what your genetic diagnosis is. So this patient registry is a very important tool for this. And it's also also really important for scientists who are working to develop, hopefully, new treatments. So we're really excited about a research study that we're currently funding by Dr. Belinda Chang. You can learn more about her work on our website, but in a nutshell, she's looking at the patient registry to find mutations that are clinically meaningful. So mutations that people are actually living with, and because of that mutation, they have a disease like retinitis pigmentosa. So she has developed this really cool test system that allows her to check if drugs that have already been approved might also work to slow the disease progression in retinitis pigmentosa. So it's a database that's used by scientists and by clinicians, but we were a little bit worried that some people might be hesitant to get their genetic testing done because of how insurers or employers might look at it in the future. So this bill is such a huge step forward. It's a giant victory that we've all been working on for so long together. So a big shout out and a thank you to all of you who took steps to help make this a reality. I know many of you called your local MPs, sent in emails, talked about the bill with people that you know, raising awareness. This has been a really long journey together, and we're at a really exciting time. So thank you to all of you. So this, I think, story is also something to celebrate because it shows the critical work that we can do together as a community. And it really paves the way for our next big fight to raise awareness about the importance of genetic testing and how important it is for people to have access to genetic testing. Now, this is a nice segue, I think, into our next story, which was featured in our e-news about the Restore Vision 2020 initiative. So what's this all about, and what does it mean for you? Well, we know that so many of you are with us because you care deeply about developing new treatments. And really, that's what Restore Vision 2020 is all about. Since the Foundation Fighting Blindness was founded, we have funded more than $36 million in research. And this funding has made a tremendous impact. There have been so many important discoveries about the genes that lead to blinding eye diseases, about how stem cells might be used to treat them, about what different drugs might work to slow down disease progression. There have been so many really important discoveries. And now there are scientists and clinicians around the world who are beginning to take that knowledge and actually move it forward to a place where it can be tested as a potential treatment in people who are living with the disease. So it's important to remember that science is this huge process where you have discovery research, people who are learning critically important things about why these diseases happen, how the eye works, what we can do to stop it. You have people who are working in this space of translational research, just trying to figure out, okay, well, how many cells would we need to inject, and how safe are these cells, and really precise questions that must be answered before you test something in a human. There are people who are working in the clinical research world trying to figure out, oh, does this actually work as a treatment? We think it might work in animal models. Does it work in people? And we are really fortunate to be funding research that really fits into all of these different categories. But we do know that the closer that you get to testing your treatment in people who are really living with these diseases, this kind of research, it's a lot more expensive. You need bigger teams with different kinds of expertise. You need, for example, some regulatory expertise, like what kinds of paperwork do you need to fill out and send into the different organizations to make sure that things are really done in a careful, safe way. So it's expensive, but it has to be done. And so we are thrilled that this new Restore Vision 2020 initiative will make more of this kind of research possible. This is the largest grant we have ever given out in the history of our organization. We are going to be funding bigger teams. We're going to be giving them more money, and we are going to give them the support that they need to really move their research forward. And we are also really thrilled, we're really excited that this is a truly international competition, because we know that we're not alone here in Canada working on this problem. There are organizations around the world. In fact, we're part of an umbrella organization called Retina International that has, I think, almost 40 different fighting blindness type organizations. We all work together, we're all working towards this common problem to find new treatments for blinding eye diseases. So we've designed our Restore Vision 2020 initiative to bring together the best of the best. We just want the best people working on this problem to drive it forward, and that's what Restore Vision 2020 is all about. I know I've been talking with people around the world about how we can make this a success, and we hope that you'll be along with us for the journey. So over the next 5 years, we'll be spending $2.5 million on this, and we're actively looking for more partners around the world to make this really a success for everybody involved. I was just at a conference where someone said something that really resonated with me. It is a truly amazing competition because in the end, everybody wins. And I think that's pretty amazing. So I got so excited talking about Restore Vision 2020, I almost lost my space. Okay, I lost where I am, but here we go. We're back on track. Restore Vision 2020 is about developing new treatments. It recognizes that there are so many treatments that are actively being tested in clinical trials, and this is why this next story is so important. So the next story I'm going to talk about is called The Dangers of Stem Cell Tourism. So unfortunately, there are many people out there who take advantage of the fact that there are no treatments for many blinding eye diseases. And they advertise that they have treatments, and they charge you a lot of money to test these new treatments. They offer cures that don't exist. And it's really become especially troubling in this world of fake news, and it's really easy to say whatever you want on the internet. Here I am right now, but I'm a trusted source. So it's really hard. I know how hard it is. Because I'm always scouring the internet to try to figure out, okay, what's the latest news? What do I need to report on? What's the information that's really important to the people in our community? And there's crazy stuff out there every day. And we're working hard to really sift through and identify the new and legitimate developments that are relevant to the actual development of new treatments. So there was a group last year that published a study that did an analysis of these stem cell clinics that offer treatments. I'm using scare quotes with my fingers because I think they really use these words inappropriately. So the study learned that there was over 600 of these stem cell clinics that were offering completely unproven treatments. When I say unproven, there is no evidence to show that these treatments do anything except for harm. And there's actually been a few lawsuits that have been brought forward where people who were offered treatments for eye diseases went on to have significant complications that led to further loss of vision. So it's really important for you not to be seduced by people who are offering to do the impossible for you for a very high price. And this is something that we need help to raise awareness about, because these clinics make it hard for people who are really trying to do excuse me, for people who are really trying to do careful, legitimate, evidence-based research, where they're trying to do things right, they're filling out the right paperwork, they're getting proper approvals, they're making sure that things are safe. This is the way that things need to be done if you want to end up with a treatment that is safe and effective. And we are working as hard as we can to speed things up as fast as we can, because we understand the urgency. But if there's a treatment that works, you'll hear about it from us. So please don't go spend your life savings traveling somewhere to get someone who's promising to cure your disease. And if you have more questions about this, or if you've seen any more clinics, make sure that you can bring this to our attention. You can talk about it with your doctor. So, this is something that we'll be continuing to talk about because it's not going to go away. And the next story I'm going to talk about is our newest ambassador, William, who it was so lovely to get to meet William and his family. I had the pleasure to meet them last year when I was out in Alberta. They are a wonderful family. They're champions in our Cycle for Sight fundraising event. And William's just a great kid. And when we asked if he'd be willing to share his story with us on our website, they've been wonderful. It's been great to get to know them. And I think this helps to remind our community about really the power of sharing your story. Because I say this sometimes, scientists and clinicians, they love research, but nobody's going to develop a cure just for the fun of it. They really need a reason, and the reason are the people like you, the people involved in our organization, the people like William and his family who are sharing their story. So we hope that more of you may decide to share your stories with us because it really helps us in our mission to raise awareness about the importance of fighting blindness. And with that, I've covered all of our stories. I have you know what? I did have a question. When someone saw William's story, they asked, what is it about someone, like what motivates William to share his story? And I think that lots of different people are motivated by different reasons. I think it is really, some people have motivation just to be a part of a community, and they know that it's one way that they can make a difference. Now, with that, I thank all of you for tuning in, and I would like to remind you that we have our Facebook Live sessions on the Fridays after we send our e-news. We do this once a month. I hope to see many of you again. If you liked our video today, please like it, please share it with your friends, because by sharing the video, this is another way that you can help us to raise more awareness. And it's always fun to get to talk with you. If you have more questions for me, please send them in through the comments. In the comments, we'll include a link to how you can learn more about our patient registry. And you can also learn about how to sign up for e-news in the comment section. So great talking with you this afternoon. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.